So I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine you're an elite professional athlete, right? Like you are at the absolute peak of your physical prime.
Right. You've dedicated your entire life to mastering this incredibly grueling sport.
Exactly. And then, out of nowhere, your team's management just pulls you off the practice court. And it's not to review game film, it's not to run drills.
Oh, no.
No, they pull you into a mandatory class on how to properly hold the salad fork.
A salad fork, yeah, or a dedicated tutorial on how to apply foundation.
Yes.
And a strict lesson on how you absolutely must swing both of your legs out of a car at the exact same time.
Yeah.
You know, just so you look appropriately ladylike when you exit a vehicle.
I mean, it sounds like a bad sketch comedy routine. Right. But that was the very real, honestly humiliating condition of playing professional women's basketball in the late 1970s.
It really was.
And if you fast forward to today, the 2026 season, those exact same professional courts are literally minting newly signed millionaires. They're completely tearing up the traditional sports broadcasting rulebook.
Oh, totally.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a total structural earthquake in the sports landscape today. And, you know, our mission is to figure out how we got from mandated charm schools to multi-million-dollar supermax contracts.
It's a wild journey.
It really is. And we've got a massive stack of sources today. We're pulling from the 2026 WNBA broadcast schedules, newly released salary figures, court specifications, and some really incredible historical accounts of pioneers from the 70s.
Yeah, and to really understand the shift, you have to look at the immediate news kicking off this incredible 2026 season. Because the physical health of the game's biggest stars is, well, it's finally aligning with the financial health of the league.
Right.
And, I mean, you can't talk about this season without starting with Caitlin Clark.
No, you really can't.
She just announced that she is, quote, 100% healthy and that she's actively managing her reps, which honestly is a massive relief if you watched her rookie campaign.
Oh, that rookie year was just punishing on her body. I mean, the sheer volume of basketball she played, going from the college tournament straight into the pros.
Oh, yeah, no break at all.
Right. It left her dealing with, what was it, a right groin sprain, left quad injuries, and a nasty ankle bone bruise.
Yep.
And she was limited to just 13 games.
Exactly. And if you look closely at the mechanics of basketball, those specific injuries, they tell a complete story.
Oh, so.
Well, when we talk about a player shooting, say, 27.9% from the three-point line, which is what Clark did last year.
Which is low for her.
Very low. Casual fans might just look at that and think, oh, she lost her touch, the pressure got to her. But a jump shot isn't generated in the arms, it's a kinetic chain that starts in the floor.
Okay.
You generate power from your quad, you transfer it through your groin and core, and then you release. So if your ankle is bruised and your groin is sprained, that kinetic chain is just broken.
You literally can't transfer the power upward.
Exactly. You physically can't.
So then what, you just end up overcompensating? Like you use way too much upper body?
Yes, and that flattens the arc of the ball. It completely destroys your accuracy. It's just pure biomechanics.
Wow, okay. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. But a fully rehabilitated, healthy Caitlin Clark returning to the court, it doesn't just, repair her shooting percentage. It completely activates a brand new, groundbreaking provision in the collective bargaining agreement.
And this is the financial part.
Yes. It is padding the players' wallets in a way we have quite literally never seen before.
Right, because if you're looking at this and wondering why a player who was projected to make, I think it was around $85,000, is suddenly pulling in $500,000 this season, you are looking at a provision called EPIC, which stands for Exceptional Performance on Initial Contract.
Right, EPIC. Because rookie contracts in major professional sports, they are notoriously rigid.
Very locked in.
Historically, owners just love the rookie scale. It provides intense cost control. A player gets drafted, they sign for a set, completely non-negotiable amount, and they are essentially locked into cheap labor for years.
Regardless of how they play.
Exactly. Whether they turn out to be a total bust or a generational superstar, you just have to wait your turn for a real payday.
But EPIC completely bypasses that waiting period, doesn't it?
It does. It fast-tracks salary increases for high-performing players who are still on their initial rookie deals.
Right. So if a player makes the All-WNBA first or second team, or wins league MVP during their first 3 seasons, that financial ceiling just shatters immediately.
Instantly.
It's basically like an entry-level hire at a major corporation, entirely skipping middle management, bypassing all the annual performance reviews, and instantly getting a C-suite salary just because they single-handedly doubled the company's annual revenue.
That is a perfect analogy because it's based on actual realized value. I mean, look at Aliyah Boston, the 2023 Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
She just inked a historic 4-year, $6.3 million contract.
Which is huge.
It's massive. And then if you apply that EPIC provision to Clark, her 2026 salary skyrockets from that projected $85,000 up to nearly $528,000.
Unbelievable.
And next year, in 2027, the projections have her hitting $1.3 million. And by 2028, she becomes eligible for a $1.7 million Supermax contract.
Okay, I want to pause on that term for a second, Supermax, because it gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah, it does.
For those who might not know, a Supermax isn't just a big paycheck, right? It's a very specific financial mechanism designed to reward absolute transcendent talent.
Right.
It allows a team to re-sign their own elite top-tier player for a significantly higher percentage of the team's total salary cap than a standard max contract.
Yeah.
Like, it is the ultimate tool for a franchise to lock down a superstar.
It really is. And what you're witnessing here is a real-time structural correction of historical wage gaps.
Yeah.
For decades, the dominant narrative from critics was just, well, the revenue simply isn't there to justify paying female athletes these massive salaries.
The age-old excuse.
Exactly. But when athletes like Clark and Boston prove their undeniable market value, driving unprecedented ticket sales and viewership, the financial infrastructure is finally being forced to adjust and pay them accordingly.
Well, the funny thing is, the outside market actually recognized that value way before the league's internal structure could catch up.
Oh, 100%.
Even before this new CBA took effect, Clark was the 6th highest earning female athlete in the entire world last year.
Just incredible.
She pulled in an estimated $16 million. And that wealth came almost entirely from outside endorsements. Nike, Gatorade, State Farm.
Yep.
She even secured her own signature Nike shoe. So she's out there making $16 million externally, while her actual team contract was paying her less than $80,000.
It's wild to think about. But the endorsement market, it acts as a leading indicator. Brands like Nike and Gatorade, they employ massive analytics departments.
Right, they know what they're doing.
Oh, definitely. They knew the cultural cachet and the eyeballs she was commanding. And now the internal economics of the sport are finally mirroring that cultural reality.
Which begs the question, where's the league suddenly finding the money to hand out these multi-million-dollar Supermax contracts? Because teams don't just invent cash out of thin air.
No, they definitely don't.
The money always follows the eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
And the eyeballs have triggered an absolutely staggering surge in broadcast rights and league expansion for 2026.
Right. The bedrock of this new financial era is a monumental 11-year media rights deal. Broadcasters are committing to the WNBA for more than a decade.
11 years is a huge commitment.
It really is. ESPN and ABC are airing a record 30 games this season alone, and they're rolling out this dedicated programming block called Women's Sports Sundays over the summer.
I love that concept.
Yeah, they're establishing a premium, heavily promoted primetime slot specifically for the WNBA and the National Women's Soccer League.
And that just feels like a massive psychological shift for sports fans. Instead of hunting through obscure cable channels or regional networks to find a game.
Right, trying to figure out what app you need to download.
Exactly. It becomes appointment viewing. You train the audience to know exactly where and when to find the absolute best matchups on Sunday afternoon.
Precisely.
And to make sure they have enough premium inventory to actually fill those broadcasts, the league is physically growing.
Yeah, we are up to 15 teams now.
Which adds, what, 330 total games to the regular season slate?
Yep, 330. And 2 highly anticipated expansion teams are debuting. We have the Toronto Tempo, making history as the very first WNBA franchise located outside the United States.
Led by Sandy Brondello, right?
Yes, 2-time championship coach Sandy Brondello. And then we have the Portland Fire, returning to the league for the first time since they folded back in 2002.
Oh, that's a great comeback story.
It really is.
And the schedule makers are already completely weaponizing this expanded talent pool. Like, opening weekend, May 9th, features an absolute blockbuster on ABC. It's the Dallas Wings taking on the Indiana Fever.
Oh, I cannot wait for that game.
Right. The single game features the last 4 consecutive #1 overall draft picks sharing the court at the exact same time.
It's crazy.
You have Aliyah Boston from 2023, Caitlin Clark from 2024, Paige Buchers from 2025, and and Azzi Fudd from 2026.
Just an unbelievable concentration of young, elite talent packed into one national broadcast window.
Okay, but let me stop you there for a second, though.
Yeah.
Because I have to push back a little on this trajectory.
Okay, go for it.
An 11-year media deal, a massive jump to 15 teams, adding 330 total games to the calendar. Is the league growing entirely too fast? Because sports history is absolutely littered with the ghosts of professional leagues that expanded themselves straight into bankruptcy. You look at the original XFL or the Alliance of American Football. They tried to flood the market with games, assuming the audience would just endlessly consume it all, and they financially imploded.
Right.
So are the WNBA owners just striking while the iron is hot, or are they risking catastrophic oversaturation?
You know, the threat of bankruptcy through overexpansion is a very real, very dangerous historical precedent. But if you look at the architecture of this specific Disney broadcast deal, it reveals a highly calculated slow burn strategy.
How so?
They are not taking all 330 games, throwing them on national television, and just praying the ratings hold up. They are purposefully creating a bottleneck.
Yeah.
ABC and ESPN are taking just 30 highly curated premium matchups.
Okay, so they're artificially creating scarcity.
Exactly. By limiting the national broadcast to franchises like Women's Sports Sunday and utilizing regional or streaming networks for the bulk of the schedule, they maintain the prestige of the core product.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they're protecting the national brand from saturation while still collecting the massive rights fees required to fund those new Supermax contracts.
That is incredibly strategic.
Right.
You feed the diehard fans locally while making the national broadcast feel like massive, unmissable events.
Precisely.
Now, as millions of new casual viewers tune in to these curated ESPN events, I think they're starting to notice something else.
Yeah.
The actual on-court product in the WNBA differs mechanically from the NBA. And it isn't just an aesthetic difference, right? It fundamentally changes the way the sport is played.
Oh, absolutely. The physical dimensions of the game are modified, starting with the most universal standard in the sport, which is the hoop height. The rim remains at exactly 10 feet.
Which is identical to the NBA.
Identical, but everything surrounding that rim is altered.
Right, because an NBA court is 94 feet long, but the WNBA plays on a shorter surface.
Right, an 84-foot court. The width remains the same at 50 feet, but losing 10 full feet of length compresses the entire playing area.
So if the court is 10 feet shorter, the overall geometry of the floor completely changes.
Wow.
I have to imagine the three-point line is culled in as well to keep the offensive spacing proportional.
It is. In the NBA, the three-point arc sits at 23.75 feet at the top of the key. In the WNBA, it's brought in to 22.15 feet.
Okay.
And furthermore, the equipment itself is scaled down. The WNBA uses a smaller, lighter basketball. It measures 28.5 inches in circumference and weighs about 510 grams, compared to the NBA's 29.5-inch, 620-gram ball.
Now, these modifications obviously originated to account for the physical differences between the athlete pools. I mean, the average WNBA player is about 6 feet tall, while the average NBA player is, what, 6'7"?
Roughly, yeah.
So hand size, wingspan, average stride length. These biometric realities dictate the optimal size of the equipment. But I'm curious about how this impacts the entertainment value.
Oh, it has a huge impact.
Does a smaller court and a closer three-point line actually make the WNBA a more strategically intense game? Because less open space means you can't just put your head down and outrun everyone in transition.
You've hit it right on the nose. The lack of open space is the defining characteristic of WNBA strategy. On an 84-foot court, a defender who is out of position can close out on a perimeter shooter in 2 strides instead of 3.
Wow, just 2 strides.
Exactly. Passing windows that might be open for a full second in the NBA snap shut in a fraction of that time in the WNBA.
Which completely eliminates the ability to rely solely on raw open court sprinting.
Yep.
It demands incredibly crisp passing, high-speed decision-making, and flawless execution of half-court sets.
It creates a highly cerebral, high IQ style of basketball. The margin for error on a pass is razor thin because the defenders simply have less ground to cover.
Right.
And audiences are deeply responding to this tight, tactical style of play.
They really are responding.
Uh-huh.
But, we still have to acknowledge the elephant in the room regarding the financial realities of these two leagues. Even with the new 11-year deal, the massive surge in viewership, and the new epic salaries, there is a staggering revenue gap. The WNBA currently generates roughly $200 million annually. The NBA generates $10 billion.
A 50-to-1 disparity.
Yeah.
And that gap is really the compound interest of decades of structural advantages, a massive head start in global marketing, and a deeply entrenched, uninterrupted broadcast history that the men's game has enjoyed for over half a century.
That $200 million figure, it seems like a drop in the bucket compared to the men. But context is everything.
Definitely.
To truly appreciate what a $200 million league looks like in 2026, and to understand the gravity of a $6.3 million contract for a player like Aliyah Boston, we have to look back at the pioneers who built the foundation of the sport for absolute pennies.
Pennies, and often significantly less than that. The early decades of professional women's basketball were defined by profound financial instability and immense personal sacrifice.
Which brings us back to Lusia Harris,
Oh.
or Lucy Harris. If you are listening to this and you don't know her name, she is a towering figure in sports history. She was an absolutely dominant force in the 1970s, winning 3 consecutive national championships at Delta State.
Just legendary.
And her statistics are mind-boggling. She averaged a massive double-double for her career.
And for anyone unfamiliar with the terminology, a double-double means a player accumulates double-digit numbers in 2 statistical categories in a single game.
Right.
To average that over a career is a testament to relentless consistency.
And she wasn't just scraping by with 10 points and 10 rebounds either.
No.
She averaged 25.9 points and 14.4 rebounds per game. She was virtually unstoppable in the paint. And when women's basketball finally made its Olympic debut at the Montreal Games in 1976, Lusia Harris scored the very first points in the history of the tournament, eventually leading Team USA to a silver medal.
Her sheer physical dominance was so undeniable that in 1977, she achieved something no woman had ever done, and honestly, no woman has done since.
Oh, this is the best piece of trivia.
She was officially drafted by an active NBA franchise.
Wait, a men's team drafted her?
Yes, the New Orleans Jazz selected her in the 7th round of the NBA draft.
That is just unbelievable. But it was a genuine recognition of her talent, even if the Jazz ownership also kind of saw the publicity value in it.
Oh, for sure. She actually declined to attend the team's training camp because she was pregnant at the time, but the milestone remains.
Right.
And in 1992, she rightfully became the first Black woman inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame.
She was a titan of the hardwood. But the broader professional landscape for women during her era was remarkably bleak.
Extremely bleak.
If we look at the very first women's professional league in the United States, the Women's Professional Basketball League, or the WPBL, which operated from 1978 to 1981, the conditions were a universe away from the chartered flights and supermax contracts we see today.
Oh, completely different world. The WPBL offered player salaries ranging from $3,000 to $5,000 for an entire season.
An entire season.
Yeah. And even securing those meager funds was a weekly battle. The league was perpetually teetering on the edge of insolvency.
There is this incredible, almost cinematic story about Muffet McGraw. She would eventually go on to become a legendary multi-championship winning head coach at Notre Dame.
Right.
But back in the late 70s, she was a player for a WPBL team called the California Dreams.
Yeah.
She was making an $11,000 salary. But the franchise was so cash poor that payday was a literal foot race. She arranged for her husband to wait outside the arena in a running car.
I love this story.
The moment the paychecks were distributed in the locker room, she would sprint out of the building, dive into the passenger seat, and they would just speed through traffic to get to the bank.
The goal was to cash the check before her own teammates could get to the teller.
That is insane.
Because whoever got there last was going to find the team's bank account completely empty and their check would just bounce.
Oh my God.
It was literally first one to the bank wins.
It sounds like a comedy heist movie. But the reality of professional athletes racing to beat bouncing checks, it highlights a profound desperation.
It does.
They were literally fighting for the mere existence of their profession. But the financial chaos wasn't even the most degrading hurdle they faced. And that brings us back to those mandated charm schools we talked about earlier.
Right. The California Dreams Management Group looked at the cultural landscape of 1979. This is an era where Title IX is still a new concept, the Equal Rights Amendment is dominating political discourse, and male sports owners are absolutely terrified that the public won't buy tickets to watch women sweat and play aggressively.
Right, the image problem.
Exactly. They believed the tomboy image was a financial liability.
So to fix the image of the game, they sent their elite professional athletes to the John Robert Powers Charm School in Los Angeles.
Yep.
They pulled women who had dedicated their lives to mastering a complex physical sport and sat them in classrooms to learn how to walk femininely, they provided mandatory makeup tutorials.
And the players, of course, were incredibly insulted. They rightly argued that a full face of foundation just sweats off the moment you start running the fast break.
Obviously.
And knowing which salad fork to use at a dinner party does absolutely nothing to help you defend a pick and roll.
I mean, sending professional basketball players to charm school to learn etiquette is like asking an astronaut to take a mixology class to learn how to make a great martini before launching them into orbit.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It has absolutely zero application to their highly specialized skill set, and it completely disrespects the gravity of their profession.
It really does.
It reveals a deep-seated lack of trust from the owners. They didn't believe the basketball itself was enough of a product. They felt the desperate need to package these athletes in a highly sanitized, traditional version of femininity just to make them palatable to a male audience.
Thankfully, the sheer talent of the players outlasted the profound insecurity of the early ownership groups. And when you look at the entire arc of the story, the evolution is breathtaking.
It really is the definition of a paradigm shift. We have tracked a journey from Lusia Harris dominating the 70s and turning down the NBA, to Muffet McGraw sprinting through traffic just to cash a meager paycheck, to athletes being forced to learn how to gracefully exit a vehicle.
Yeah.
And now we arrive at the explosive 2026 season.
A season where the narrative is finally exclusively dictated by elite talent and massive revenue. You know, you have Aliyah Boston signing a $6.3 million deal. You have Caitlin Clark leveraging the EPIC provision to fast-track her way to a $1.7 million supermax, all while pulling in $16 million a year in corporate endorsements.
Amazing.
The financial and broadcasting infrastructure of the sports world has finally risen to meet the undeniable value of the athletes on the court.
It is an incredible evolution, and it proves the slow and steady model of sports growth can occasionally be replaced by a massive seismic leap forward. But it also leaves me with one final thought, something for you to mull over after we wrap up today. We talked extensively about how the WNBA uses an 84-foot court and a closer three-point line to optimize the game based on historical physical averages.
Right?
But what happens in the near future? We are looking at a brand new generation of young athletes who are growing up right now with the exact same access to elite sports science, the same advanced nutritional analytics, and the exact same multi-million-dollar financial backing as their male counterparts.
That's a great point.
As these athletes inevitably continue to get faster, taller, and more explosive, are they going to completely outgrow those modified dimensions? Will we see a day, maybe in the next decade, when the WNBA is forced to push the three-point line back or extend the hardwood to a full 94 feet simply because the players have become far too powerful and athletic for the smaller court?
You know, when you look at how rapidly the game has changed just this year, the intersection of modern sports science and those historical court dimensions is going to be a fascinating collision.
Definitely something to keep a very close eye on as we watch this 2026 season unfold. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the business, the history, and the mechanics of the WNBA. Keep learning, keep asking